Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Concord Township's annual Candidates and Issues Forum. I'm Deborah Esker, Concord Township Recreation Director, and I'll be your moderator this evening. We would first like to thank the Auburn Career Center for the use of the auditorium this evening, and we look forward to partnering with them in several key events next year as Concord Township enters our bicentennial year in 2022. Keep that in mind, please. We extend our sincere thanks to Dr. Brian Von Tempo, his assistant Lori, and the Auburn Career Center staff for their generosity and assistance tonight. Auburn Career Center guidelines for gatherings state that staff, students, and visitors have the option to wear masks. However, 3-foot social distancing of physical space is required between people while indoors. Please be respectful of school rules and try to maintain that distance if possible. Your cooperation is very much appreciated. The rules governing this evening's forum are as follows. Candidates will speak first. Speakers will be separated into 5 groups. Group 1 will be the candidates for Concord Township Trustee, where 2 candidates are running for 2 positions and both candidates are running unopposed. Group 2 will be the candidates for the Lake Educational Service Center for the Western Reserve, where 6 candidates are running for 5 positions of either a 2-year or a 4-year term length. Group 3 will be the candidates for Mentor Exempted Village Board of Education, where 7 candidates are running for 3 positions. And Group 4 will be the candidates for the Riverside Local Board of Education, again, where 7 candidates are running for 3 positions. And Group 5 will be our issues speakers. Group 1 speaks first, followed by Group 2, Group 3, Group 4, and finally our issues speakers. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. They do not have to use the entire 3 minutes, but they must stop at the 3-minute mark, and we thank you for your cooperation with that rule. Candidates running for elected offices will also be given an additional 2-minute rebuttal period. So after the 3-minute candidate speeches, the 2-minute candidate rebuttals, and the 3-minute issues speeches, the forum concludes. And candidates and issue speakers are encouraged to stay afterward to interact with guests and audience members at that time, as there will be no audience participation during the forum. Speaking order will be determined by card draw for each group of candidates, and issues will go in numerical order. Our timers tonight are recreation staff members Susie Cobb and Heidi Nelson. They will help speakers manage their time by holding up signs at the 30-second mark, the 15-second mark, and the stop mark when time is up. And candidates and speakers must stop speaking when the stop sign is held up. So candidates, thank you in advance for respecting and adhering to these limits. And audience members, thank you in advance for listening respectfully and quietly to the forum, as everyone will have the opportunity to talk and interact outside the forum after the forum concludes. Before we begin the candidate speeches, I'd like to welcome and recognize Concord Township elected officials in the audience who are not on the ballot this evening. I believe Fiscal Officer Amy Dawson is in the room. Thank you, Amy. Thank you very much. Now on to our forum. Our first group of candidates to speak are running for Concord Township Trustee. The 2 candidates are both incumbents, Trustee Amy Lucci and Trustee Carl Dondorfer. Invitations to the forum were sent to both, and both responded and are here with us this evening. And in terms of speaking order, since both candidates are running unopposed, I think ladies should go first. So please take the stage. And I will introduce Trustee Amy Lucci for her 3-minute speech.
Good evening. I am Amy Lucci. I am one of the Concord Township trustees, and I'm running this election to retain my seat. I happen to be in the favorable position of running unopposed, but I still hope to earn your vote, your confidence in my ability to continue to lead and serve Concord Township. Since I'm running unopposed, I'm not going to take away precious time from the candidates here who need to get their message out. So thank you, and good luck to the candidates.
And our next speaker is Trustee Carl Dondorfer.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to start off by thanking all of you for being here. It's important to be involved in the process, especially when your elected officials come in and give you their little pitch and tell you about themselves, and also important to be involved in the issues that are currently on the ballot. With that, I've been in public service for 28 years. Growing up in Concord Township, it's a great honor to be serving as a trustee. I started serving as a trustee in 2019. I also served as a deputy sheriff, serving not only the residents of Concord Township, but the residents of Lake County, and also worked at Lake Metro Parks, serving Concord Township also. So it is very rewarding for me to serve in the township. I'm very passionate about public service, and since being in public service 28 years, it's been very rewarding. So I look forward to being able to serve as trustee for the foreseeable future, and it's an honor to be unopposed and serving as trustee here. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Trustee Lucci and Trustee Donder for maintenance here. Would the candidates running for Lake Educational Service Center please take the stage? Invitations to our forum were mailed to all candidates, and we received responses from Jean Brush and Pat Snee. Jean Brush is with us this evening. However, Pat was scheduled to speak but had an urgent, unavoidable, last-minute conflict and cannot attend tonight. So now I now invite Jean Brush to take the podium for her 3-minute speech.
I just had one of those wonderful cookies outside. They were really good. My name is Jean Brush, and I'm running unopposed for the Lake County, for the Educational Service Center. I have been on the board for some years, and I am still on the board because my term has not ended yet until December. And since I have been on the board, I am very aware of the workings of the board. This last year, I want to bring you up to date a little bit about what's happened in the Educational Service Center. This last year, the Lake County ESC has joined with the Geauga ESC, which now is called the Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve. We are located in the Auburn Career Center across the street in a Texas building. Thanks to Jennifer, who is our superintendent for the ESC of the Western Reserve, has really moved this ESC forward. And by doing that, we have purchased Hale Road School. And that is where the special needs children are educated. And we've also bought Clyde C. Haddon School. And that's where the STEM school is located. And the students will be educated there. Both of these transactions have been given both of these students or groups a place of their own. The Hale Road students were in many schools split out throughout the county. Also, the ESC has a store in Painesville City. Did you know that? It's called the Unique Like Me. And all the things that are sold there are made by the students, the special needs students, and they are taught to communicate with the people that come in and the things for sale. So it's a learning experience. If you want any more information, I'd be glad to help you with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean. I now ask the candidates for Mentor Exempted Village Board of Education to take the stage, and we will draw to determine speaking order. Thank you very much. The candidates for Mentor Exempted Village Board of Education include Kenneth Buckley, Maggie Cook, Christine Henninger, Virginia Jessling, Annie Payne, Diane Popoulas, and Brandon Towns. Invitations to our forum were sent to all candidates, and all candidates responded. Christine Henninger and Annie Payne send their regrets as they had unavoidable scheduling conflicts and could not attend. Based on the card draw we just did, our first speaker will be Diane Popoulas.
Thank you. Just for the record, it's Populous.
I'm
But-
sorry.
No, that's okay. My parents never got it right either. Seriously. Thank you. I am Diane Populous. I am running for Mentor School Board. I've been a taxpayer in the city of Mentor since 1986. I started out volunteering at Orchard Hollow School to where I went to represent Orchard Hollow at Lake County Council. I then became PTA president for 2 years. During that time, I helped implement Market Day, which was a huge fundraiser. We raised enough funds to buy a retractable wall for the gym and brand new playground equipment. I did Ohio Reads for several years. I did it through Mentor and Fairport Schools. I am currently employed, going into my 5th year at St. Gabe's. My son graduated from Mentor High in 2008. In 2009, I started helping run concession for all major sports, to which I am still doing it. It is a volunteer job. People come up to concession and say, "You still have kids here?" And I say, "No, but I love doing it. It's a fun job." My son played football at Mentor. I can say my husband was probably his biggest fan. When he suddenly passed away in 2008, we had donations sent to the Red Line Club. We were very active in that club and Cardinal parents. Every year since then, a senior from Mentor High football team receives the Mike Pops Populous Award. So it's a connection I've always had and will always have with the school. I'm very involved in our community. I single-handedly had a levy passed, an ordinance passed for leaves not to be thrown in the street. I also fought for 2 years to have the Veteran Mentor Day Parade changed so it went through the voters. I single-handedly started a Facebook page in November called Mentor Small Business Support Page. I do this on my own time, free to all the businesses, to help support them and get back on track after lockdown. I'm very involved in my parish. I belong to St. Bede. I'm a religious educator. I teach 4th grade PSR and confirmation. I'm an usher, a Eucharistic minister. I've served on parish council and several ministries, Helping Hands, social justice, and the food pantry. I hope I can count on you to secure your vote for our future and the future of Mentor generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second candidate will be Kenneth Buckley.
Good evening. I'm Ken Buckley, and I'm seeking re-election to the Mentor Board of Education. I would like to thank Concord Township for organizing and sponsoring this annual Candidates and Issues Forum. I'm seeking re-election for 3 reasons. I am a lifelong Mentor resident. My family and I have lived in Mentor for over 70 years. Mentor is my home, my community, and the schools are the cornerstone of our community. As a graduate of Mentor Schools, I have a personal interest in preserving and improving the quality of our school system. My wife and our 4 children are Mentor graduates, and recently 2 of our grandchildren graduated from Mentor High. A mentor education provided a springboard to launch all of us on the journey for pursuing our goals and aspirations. It is my desire to support this tradition of excellence and help it continue for all of Mentor's students. I would like to continue to share my time and talents with our schools. I bring over 40 years of experience to the table. In the past, I was a teacher, an elementary principal, a junior high principal, a central office administrator, serving as the K-12 director, and director of human resources. I have also taught undergraduate and graduate courses at Lake Erie College, Cleveland State University, and John Carroll University. Education is my passion. I have the advantage of utilizing my experiences to view issues through the variety of lenses of an educator, parent, grandparent, taxpayer, senior citizen, and board member. I want to continue giving back to our school system. Finally, I of course believe in a quality public education for all students, and we continue to focus on continuous improvement, high student achievement, and fiscal responsibility. Focusing on continuous improvement means that members of the school system practice constant re-examining and improving the teaching and learning process. Increasing student achievement levels is attained by a continuous review of local and other sources of achievement and measuring objectives. All this must be done within a budget. I believe that I can be a positive influence on our school system. Indeed, I would like to demonstrate once a card, always a card. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our third candidate will be Maggie Cook.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Cook, and I am a candidate for the Mentor Board of Education. Tonight, I am asking you to vote for me for one of 3 open positions because I am qualified, connected, and invested in the success of Mentor schools. With 2 decades of experience as an educator, I bring valuable insight to the board. As a speech-language pathologist, I've had the opportunity to work in kindergarten through 12th grade classrooms. My expertise in special education is critical to the Board of Education because special education is one of our biggest expenditures for Mentor schools. I am connected. I am connected to the challenges that parents and children face, and I understand how to improve school climate, maintain discipline, and improve school safety. I have worked with students to develop skills for the workplace for 2 decades, and I will support programs that connect our students to jobs in our community. Outside of the classroom, I work to address school policy by serving on multiple boards and committees, including a professional staff council, an insurance committee that works to reduce costs for a public school self-funded plan, and I'm currently negotiating the 3rd consecutive contract for Chardon employees. These opportunities have given me the experience with school funding, finance, policy, and the legal obligations that you need as a board member. I am invested in Mentor schools because I'm a mom. I'm a mom of Mentor school students. My husband and I have 2 daughters. We have a sophomore at Mentor High School, and we have a 7th grader at Mentor Memorial. We chose Mentor School for our daughters because we believe in the district, and we're invested in the success of the Mentor School District because that's where our children attend school. As a candidate, I'm endorsed by local leaders in the Republican and Democratic parties because I am known for my work as an educator and a person with integrity that is willing to listen to the community. You can trust me to make smart decisions for the Mentor Board of Education as a current educator that understands public schools, a local leader in education policy, and an invested mom of Mentor school students. I am a smart decision for the education of your children, your grandchildren, and your neighbors because I am qualified, connected, and invested. Thank you for your consideration, and please vote for Maggie Cook for Mentor Board of Education November 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next candidate will be Brandon Towns.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Towns, and I'm running for the Mentor Exempted Village Board of Education. Excited to be here. It's an opportunity to share with community members that aren't located within the Mentor city limits. And I think that one of the benefits of having individuals like myself, Mentor on the Lake, we have roughly 8,000 community members in Mentor on the Lake. We have, in Mentor proper, is a lot larger. And sometimes what happens is our small, but powerful, but passionate voices sometimes get lost. So being someone who's not from Mentor, I know what it's like. And I am a candidate who will speak with you and will speak for you as a board member. One of the things that's really important to me is communication. And when it comes to communication, I like to tell the story of my youngest daughter. Her name is Rosie. And when we're in the delivery room, we were so excited, right? Excited, nervous, sweating, ready, like, here we go, here we go. I don't think I can love anybody as much as my oldest daughter, but let's give it a try. And as she's crowning, the OB says, the cord is wrapped around her neck. And you can imagine, my father's in here, how you go into Superman mode and it's like, okay, watch out. I'm not a doctor, but I can figure it out. But I had to stop and I had to say, but he's the expert. And I have to trust him. I have to trust him to make the decision that he's been training for, that he spent time and has the experience for, and that he's talked with us for the last 9 months for. That's what I had to do as a father. Put one of my most prized possessions in the hands of someone else. I wish I could have brought Rosie today because she is still one of my most prized possessions. She's my mini-me and there's nothing like her. But it took trust. And I'm asking for that same trust as a current educator, as a doctoral student, as a father on November 2nd. Please vote for Brandon Towns. Thank you.
And our next candidate is Virginia Jesselin. Thank you for welcoming me this evening. Through my 8 years of school board service, I understand the needs and issues that we face. Stable good governance is my central goal. After 21 years of teaching, I know the challenges of the classroom, and I'm committed to public education. My 3 sons are Mentor graduates, my 3 school-age grandchildren continue the Cardinal tradition, and the baby will follow her cousins in a few years. I'm excited to continue working on Mentor's strategic plan. It was drafted with community and student input to be sure every tax dollar is invested wisely and students are future ready. Since 2014, I've attended or led more than 650 meetings and school activities. Visiting classrooms, career tech programs, special ed units, and exhibitions have kept me in touch. From speech and debate, Science Olympiad, and Model UN, to plays, concerts, and more, I know our district. I can ask key questions and know the complexities and consequences of our decisions. By Ohio law, the school board's role is to hire the superintendent and treasurer and to set policy. Effective board members are collaborative, advocates for public education, and problem solvers without personal agendas. The Ohio Department of Education, not the school board, sets Mentor's curriculum. Standards approved by the Ohio legislature dictate our content. Because unknown challenges await our students, I support developing key skills like problem solving and critical thinking to ready them for success. Students plan career pathways to prepare for graduation, and I encourage the expansion of career tech, business partnerships, and internships to give them a head start toward college, jobs, or the military. School funding is a major challenge. We know that lack of money can cripple a school district, and even though costs rise, property tax income is capped until voters approve changes. Letting voters know what their investment has yielded matters. We're working with lawmakers to stabilize school funding, to ease property taxes, and offer secure planning. Constant pressures from promoters of privatization threaten public schools by sowing seeds of distrust. COVID-19 has demanded tough decisions. Safety comes first, and our district responded, but for some students, there's been a negative impact. Thanks to ESSER funds, targeted intervention is being provided to close that achievement gap. Families in crisis, chaotic social media, escalating violence, and changing child-rearing norms, the world's troubles seep into our schools. Governor DeWine's Student Wellness Fund expanded non-academic services here in Mentor schools to offset those worrisome trends. These are divisive times, and the voters will choose qualified people focused on good governance, is my hope. I hope I'm found worthy of re-election by being prepared and involved. Service with integrity is my commitment. Thank you. Thank you, speakers. Candidates are now given 2 minutes for rebuttal in the same speaking order. Our first candidate will be Diane Popoulos. You're waving. Second speaker, Kenneth Buckley.
I have no rebuttal.
Third speaker, Maggie Cook.
I have no rebuttal.
All right. Fourth speaker, Brandon Towns. Good. All right. And fifth speaker, Virginia Jesselman.
I was delighted to hear my fellow candidates.
Thank you very much, candidates. You may now leave the stage. And I ask the candidates for the Riverside Local Board of Education to take the stage, and we will draw for speaking order. The candidates for Mentor Exempted Village Board of Education include, I'm sorry, oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Ooh, that's a mistake. Riverside. Scott Fischel, Belinda Galavic Grassi, Jennifer Harden, Jack Miley, Deirdre Ramey, Beverly Shalero, and Robert Zames. Invitations to our forum were sent to all candidates. And Scott Fischel, Belinda Galavic Grassi, Jennifer Harden, Jack Miley, Deirdre Ramey, and Beverly Shalero responded to our invitation and are with us tonight. Each candidate present will now be given 3 minutes to speak, and we start with Jack Miley.
Good evening, and thank you to the hosts for supporting this event. I'm Jack Miley, and I'm excited to run for re-election on the Riverside School Board for a third term. During my first 6 years on the board, I served as the vice president and worked collaboratively with my fellow members to improve our district over the last 8 years. As I am the only educator on the local school board, I bring a real perspective which is an asset to our work. I'm a retired educator with 35+ years experience. I have worn many hats and many positions, even in my first 15 years as a teacher and a coach. I taught real American history and government for 15 years, and the next 23 years I was an administrator at either Riverside High School or Hale Road Elementary. I have been associated with the Riverside School since 1992 and retired in 2013. Then I became a board member. Throughout my career, I always stressed honesty, integrity, and transparency in my many roles. I continue to represent students in the community by working hard and providing quality leadership and experience. As a fiscal watchdog and a board member, I have been on our Building and Grounds Committee for 8 years. We continuously look for ways to save money and to look for sensible, affordable expenses. Over the last 8 years, common sense spending has always been a goal, just like homeowners would make when they're doing their own improvements. I continuously question expenses as a servant of the public money and avoid wasteful spending at all costs. We look for the best value to make appropriate decisions. Our board and administrators constantly look outside for opportunities to raise money outside of the tax base. Over the last 4 years, we've raised almost $1 million for things like buses, welding lab, reading and teaching programs, and the list goes on. Selling our old schools saved us a ton of money, millions, because we didn't have to abate them. Academic excellence, I serve on the curriculum committee, and from the day I walked into Riverside in 1992, I've always tried to make Riverside the best academic experience for our students as my main goal. Safety, we've built a lot of things into our new schools to provide safer opportunities for kids. During COVID last year that changed our lives, we were able to keep our schools open and students in the classroom. Please vote for me.
Our second candidate for the Riverside Local Board of Education is Jennifer Harden.
Hi, thank you. My name is Jennifer Harden. I want to quickly tell you a little bit about myself and my background. I have lived in Concord for the last 13 years with my husband of 22 years and our 3 children. I do have 3 kids up at the Riverside campus. I have a son who's a senior who also attends Auburn here half of the day, a daughter who's a sophomore, and another son who is in 8th grade. Before I decided to run for the board 8 years ago, I started off wanting to volunteer. I'd been a stay-at-home mom for many years, and as soon as my oldest got into school, I was like, okay, give me something more to do. So I began volunteering. I was the president of the PTO in my kids' school. They went to Leroy. I founded a group called the RPTA, which is the Riverside Parent-Teacher Alliance, which brings all of the parent groups in the district together. With that, I then created the community egg hunt. I used to have an egg hunt at my house where I would have literally I think at one point I had 2,000 eggs, a couple hundred people. My husband used to go crazy. We moved it then to Riverside and do a community egg hunt. For the last 9 years, I've been the president of RLEF, which is Riverside Local Excellence in Education Foundation, and I've actually served on that board for 11 years. We help provide scholarships to our students. In that time, I've also created 2 scholarships in memory of people that I loved and lost. One to a good friend of mine, whose mom's actually here, that is in memory of her daughter, and it goes to high school seniors that are entering the medical field. And then we established a scholarship in my father-in-law's honor. He was a proud pipe fitter, and we wanted to establish a scholarship for children going into the trades. There aren't a lot of scholarships available to our non-college bound students, and to me that was a really important thing that we make sure we're focusing on those children as well. So there is the Eugene R. Harden Memorial Scholarship that goes for children that are entering the trades upon graduation. I also ran the levy committee for the school district, coached softball in Leroy. I've coached cheerleading for the Riverhawks, and I also coached cheerleading for 7th and 8th grade in the middle school. 8 years ago, I was elected to the Board of Education. For the last 7 years, I have been voted board president by my peers. In that time, we were in the best financial shape that this district has been in a very long time. We have still one of the lowest per pupil expenditures and lowest tax rates in Lake County. We used to have a not very positive relationship with our teachers union. I took it upon myself after we had finally negotiated a contract after a lot of pain. I took it upon myself to reach out to the union to start trying to rebuild that relationship. Myself with their then union president really made that work, and we've gone on to now have easy and not so painful with contract negotiations. We now have a state-of-the-art welding lab at Riverside. Our test scores are steadily climbing from 2016 to present in almost every single category, some significantly. We have turf now on our field in the stadium, which means all of our community groups are welcome to use that as well. New buildings, working with township trustees in all of our townships. In Painesville Township, when we sold Haddon, we made a point to work with our township trustees so they could keep that portion of the back as a park that the community can still enjoy. So Haddon Park. There's so much more, and if anyone has time to talk later, I'd love to. Please vote for Jennifer Harden for school board. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third candidate for Riverside Local Board of Education is Deirdre Ramey.
Hello, my name is Deirdre Ramey, and I'm a candidate for the Riverside Local School Board of Education. I'd like to thank the Concord Township Rec for putting this event together. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to sharing just a little bit about myself and my vision as a potential board member. I've lived in Painesville my entire life. I was born in Painesville. I went to Leroy Elementary. I went to John R. Williams Junior High School, and I graduated from Riverside in the class of '90. In that time, between then and now, I've gone to school. I've been in school for a really long time. I'm an advanced practice nurse, and I've been an advanced practice nurse for the past 11 years, a nurse for the past 15. I've worked in public health, and currently I'm working at Cleveland Clinic in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health. One of the things that kind of motivated me to run is that I have 2 grandchildren who attend Riverview Elementary. We're a multi-generational family, so I get to be there for them when they come home from school and when they go off to school in the morning. And the past 17 months have been really interesting in our country. The COVID pandemic has kind of kept us isolated, kind of in our own little groups. And in that, it gave me an opportunity to really kind of see what was going on because I didn't have anything else to do. And so, to my leadership objectives. One of the things that I would like to see happen as a member of the Riverside Local School Board is that parents and community members, students have a way to communicate with the board about things that are concerning to them. Another thing that I would like to do as a member of the Riverside Local School Board is use my nursing expertise to kind of explain or kind of simplify some of the public health initiatives that have come out and kind of debunk myths, because there was I think with the pandemic, the messages were kind of mixed. One person said this, one person said that, and the evidence got lost in the shuffle. So that's one thing that I hope to accomplish. And the third thing that I would like to accomplish is to focus on inclusion and equity. Recently, it seems that the politics have kind of gotten into the school board. And it seems to me that children shouldn't have to worry about politics. School should be fun. And I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to being on the board. And I'd like to ask you to vote for me on November 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Our fourth candidate will be Belinda Glavick-Grassi.
Thank you. Thank you to Concord Township for inviting us all here today. I'm really glad to be here. I probably should have wrote more down, but I'm an off-the-cuff kind of a person, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what I care about the most for our school district. So I have been a resident of Concord Township since 1996.
I'm a 35-year certified public accountant and the chief financial officer for an organization called Help Foundation, where we serve the disabled in many different ways. I bring fiscal responsibility to the Board of Education, but our administrative team and our treasurer are already very fiscally responsible. And at the end of the day, I just want to say that I'm very proud to be on the Riverside School Board, but at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's really not about me coming to the board. It's about our students. And I don't want to forget that at any point in time. And so I wanted to give you some indication of what it is that I feel I'm most proud of about our students. So I have 2 children who graduated from Riverside. They're both in college right now, but what fascinates me the most and makes me the most proud is that when they come home and they bring their friends to my kitchen table and we sit around our house, and I think, wow, those are some really, really smart young people. They have really fabulous ideas, and they have really interesting things to say, and they have really interesting ideas about the world that we live in. They are empathic and they're sincere and they care about one another. And I love that. And I believe that we bring that from the school district every single day. And I get really emotional and worked up about it because it's really important what we do in our schools. And I think the state of Ohio has the right idea. They're creating all kinds of pathways for students to be successful. It's not just about test scores. As a matter of fact, our state report cards will come out tomorrow. You can look those up. However, there are no test scores because with the pandemic, they've eliminated all that information. But our test scores increase, but every day I think, is it really just about test scores? Or is it about that individual that we graduate out of our district that sits around my kitchen counter and is really a cool young person making really cool decisions and defining for themselves what success is? Okay, I don't believe that we as a school district need to tell students what success should look like in any one way or another. I think that's for students to figure out, and we help them. And our administrative team does such a great job at that every single day, and I'm proud of that. And I want to see us continue that. I think we work well as a board. I would like to thank our 2 board members that are already here. They've already said a lot of the things that I already wanted to say, so I figured I didn't have to. So I just want to tell you, vote for me. I really want to continue this great path that we're on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our 5th candidate will be Scott Fischel.
I want to thank you all for coming tonight. My name is Scott Fischel. I'm running for Paynesville Township School Board. I have lived in Concord for 31 years and had 3 children graduate from Riverside High School. My main campaign platform is No CRT. If you don't know what CRT is, it's critical race theory. It's being taught in 2/3 of the school districts in the United States today. Basically what it says, if you're a white kid, you're a racist and a white supremacist. If you're a black kid or a Latino or another minority, then you've been taken advantage of and you have no chance. We don't want that at Riverside. Right now, Mentor City Schools is teaching it. Paynesville City Schools is teaching it. This morning I went to Riverside High School. I met with Pete, the principal, and we set up a meeting for next week to get better acquainted. Also saw a couple teachers there. What I'm looking at doing is already starting to do this job before I'm elected. You need to gather a lot of information. You may need to make good decisions. What we need to do is we need to operate the budget. We need to help to hire the superintendent and the treasurer, and we need to oversee all the properties in the school grounds, and of course, make sure that the kids have a platform to have a great and wonderful education and an outstanding future for each of them. I'm looking forward to working with everybody. Please vote for me, Scott Fischel, on November 2nd.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our sixth candidate will be Beverly Shalero.
Hi, my name is Beverly Shalero, and I'm running for Riverside School Board. Well, I'll tell you just real quick about my background, because we don't have a lot of time, and I have some other things that I want to cover. I've been in Concord for 26 years. I had 2 boys that were over at the Riverside School District, and some things were good and some things were not. Also, I've been through the North High School system over in Louis Eastlake. I graduated from Cleveland State with a master's in public administration. There's other stuff, but I'm not going to bore you with it. So anyway, I really want to get to the meat and potatoes about what's going on, because there's 8 people running, and there's a reason why they're running, because they're concerned. So I wanted to see what was going on in our school district and what we were paying for. So I went down and I took a look at some of the information that was part of the Ohio School Report Card. So for the Riverside School District, I wanted to see where we ranked in school systems within Ohio. And I found that we ranked 222. So I wanted to see what our surrounding school systems ranked. And Mentor, Chardon, and Kirtland ranked much higher than us, up in the 100s. Well, actually, Chardon is 54 and Kirtland is 89. Kirtland is 89. But then I wanted to see, how about our graduation rate? How's it going? Well, ours is 88%, and Mentor, Chardon, and Kirtland are between 94 and 97. So I wanted to see, well, were we better than that before? Well, we were. 2015, we had a graduation rate of 94. So in the last 5 years, we've dropped 6%. That concerns me. I'm a taxpayer. I want to be able to see smart, responsible kids leave our schools. They're going to be our leaders. I want to know that they're going to be looking for a good future. So as far as preparation for success, Riverside School District was 40% compared to higher for Mentor, Chardon, and Kirtland. Kirtland is as high as 75%. Now, I'm not saying this stuff because I want to tear anybody down. I say it because I'm concerned. Because there must be a reason why these things are happening. I just think they really need to be looked into. Our report card score, our grade was C, and for the other 3 school districts, it was B. I have another concern as well with our school district, and that's the bullying data that I looked up. My boys were in the Riverside school system. One of my kids had to finally go over to the Mentor school system to finish because he was tormented by children that school system, Riverside, did nothing about. It's close to my heart. I want to be able to come up with preventative programs that come up with results that help the kids. Not only the kids, but the people that are bullying them, their parents, and our community. There's so much more to talk about, just like the rest of the candidates know. And I'd like to ask you for your vote on November 2nd. I'm staying around if you have any questions, and the rest of my bio and information and platforms out front. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you very much, candidates. You also have a 2-minute rebuttal time. Our first candidate will be Jack Miley, unless you'd like to wave. Jack Miley waves. Our second candidate will be Jennifer Hardin. Waves. Our third candidate, Deirdre Ramey. Fourth candidate, Belinda Glavick-Grassi.
So I just want to address our test scores. I have documentation here that indicates that our test scores have been rising since 2016 through 2019. Report cards from the state of Ohio were sent out by the state to give an indication of rankings for schools. And at some point in time in the past, a number of years ago, I think it was about 4, the state decided that those weren't working very well, and they decided to change those state report cards to give people different indicators. As a result, districts around the state lost ratings. They went from A's to F's overnight. The state has discontinued right now due to COVID, but they know it's an issue, they know it's a problem, and they are looking at that. And I just want to make a point of letting people know that the state report cards are not always accurate, and they're always they have information in there that is very convoluted, and the formulas are very confusing. And unless you really understand that information and understand the computation, sometimes that data is not exactly what it is all seems to be. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
fifth candidate, Scott Fischel, waving, and our sixth candidate, Beverly Schlero.
I do want to address what they're doing down at the state. They do it for a reason, and the data that they're working with is the data that they're getting from our school system. So I don't know how convoluted it is. I do know that anytime you're working with any type of accounting, which I've been working in accounting for many years, that yes, there's different formulas, there's different numbers. I'm sure there's a lot involved in how they figure out what they figure out. But as far as I know, from what I researched, their data comes right from our own school system.
Thank you very much, candidates. You may step off the stage. And finally, we welcome our issues speakers to the stage. Pam Brown will be speaking for issue 1, Paul Pelagi will be speaking for issue 2, and Andy Rose will be speaking for issue 3. We will go in issue number order. Each issues speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. And is Pam Brown in the audience? Okay, then we start with issue number 2. This is Mr. Paul Pelagi.
Good evening. Thank you to Concord for giving us this opportunity, and thank all of you for spending some time this evening to educate yourselves. My name is Paul Pelagi. I'm the Executive Director at Lake Metro Parks. Metro Parks will be on the ballot this fall. We have an issue that will include a 0.8 mil renewal. It's a 0.8 mil renewal and a 0.4 mil increase. That total increase would cost taxpayers an additional $1.17 a month on $100,000 of property, or $14 a year. So I'll give those numbers again. 0.8 renewal with a 0.4 increase. The increase costs $14 a year, $1.17 a month. The last time the Metro Parks had an increase was in 2012, so about 10 years ago. At that time, we promised that over the ensuing 10 years, we would do a few things with that increase. We would increase access to public land, we would maintain clean and safe parks, and we would not come back for any other increases for the life of that levy. We kept those promises. It's been 10 years. Our visitation has gone up by over 54% since 2012. During the year between 2019 and 2020, during the COVID and the lockdowns, our visitation went up by over 690,000 visits in that 1 year, and it increased again this last year by another percent. So we have kept our promises, and we hope that folks will support us here in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And our third and final speaker is Mr. Andy Rose.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. I'd like to thank the fantastic group at Concord Township for putting this event on, as we do every year. Issue 3 in Concord Township is a 5-year fire operations renewal levy. It's 2.7 mils. It's been that way since the early 90s. There is no tax increase. This is a straight up renewal. Concord Township has worked extremely hard in order to manage our fire operations costs, and we continue to demonstrate fiscal responsibility throughout the township, which is demonstrated by having the lowest tax rate of all 5 townships within Lake County. In short, we thank you for your support of issue 3, and I'll be around afterwards if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. You may leave the stage if you wish.
Thank you.
Thank you to our candidates and issues speakers for participating in Concord Township's 2021 Candidates and Issues Forum. Speakers and guests are welcome to mingle in the lobby. There is also information on the table just outside the auditorium with campaign literature that you are welcome to take. We'd like to again thank the Auburn Career Center for use of this room and their hospitality tonight. Our forum has concluded. I do want to plug the Concord Township's bicentennial year in 2022. There are plenty of sponsorship opportunities available. Just see somebody from the Recreation Department, and we welcome your involvement and your celebration with us. Take care, everybody, and thank you.